You've probably heard him called real-life Tony Stark, maybe even the savior of humanity. But what if the man building our future is becoming something else entirely, something far more dangerous? Well, today we're going to break down the evolution of Elon Musk.
So, let's just start with a really big question, something that gets right to the heart of where power is today. Forget about presidents, forget about kings and governments for just a second. What if all that power was in the hands of one guy? A guy who tells the world his goal is to save us all, but whose actions are creating a reality that's getting way more complex and, maybe a lot more dangerous.
That's what we're digging into today. Is he a visionary, a conqueror, or is he becoming something like an emperor, totally convinced that he's the only one who can save us? We're going to use these three ideas to map out his journey and figure out what's really at stake, because the future of our civilization might actually depend on it.
Okay, we're about to go deep on this. If you're ready to see where this journey takes us, do me a quick favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It honestly makes a huge difference and lets us keep making more explainers just like this one.
All right, let's rewind and start at the beginning with this idea of the young rebel. This is really where the legend of Elon Musk, the icon we all know, gets started.
In his early days, Musk was basically Prometheus, just fueled by all these science fiction dreams and this huge desire to tear down old systems. He co-founds PayPal, and that was really his first big move, giving the fire of innovation, in this case online payments, directly to the people, cutting out the old school banks.
And then his ambitions just exploded. Seriously, Tesla wasn't just about making a neat electric car. It was framed as a full-on crusade against big oil. And SpaceX, that wasn't just some rocket business. It was literally a backup plan for the human race. These weren't companies. They were missions to save civilization.
But here's the catch, and this is the really crucial turning point. This whole heroic Prometheus phase, it leads to a huge question. When your dreams are that big, what do? You realize pretty quick that you can't just be a dreamer. No, you need power, lots of it. And that quest for power, well, that brings us right to our second archetype, the conqueror. This is the part of the story where the dreamer starts to become an empire builder.
Think of this table as the roadmap of his transformation, right? He starts as Prometheus, the giver, then he evolves into Genghis Khan, the conqueror, and now he might be turning into Ozymandias, the savior. Each step builds on the one before it, and trust me, the stakes get higher every single time.
And you can literally watch the shift happen right here. He goes from shaking up industries like banking and cars to controlling the absolute core systems of our world. We're talking wielding real geopolitical power with Starlink in a war zone, and then grabbing control of the global conversation with X.
See, Musk isn't conquering land like the original Genghis Khan. He's conquering the essential networks of our century. He's got the keys to space, he's got a private global internet, he controls the digital town square, and now he's building the AI that's going to run on top of all of it.
The war in Ukraine, that's when this all became crystal clear and, honestly, kind of terrifying. When he could decide who gets internet on a battlefield, he was influencing a war. Suddenly, world leaders weren't negotiating with a CEO. They were talking to the leader of a new kind of digital nation-state.
And this brings us to the real razor's edge we're on right now. Once a single person gets that much power, what happens next? Do they give it back? Or do they start to believe that they're the only one who can be trusted with it?
That question, it leads us straight into our third and maybe most worrying archetype, the emperor. The savior figure who thinks he's the only one with the answers and walks right into the classic trap of hubris.
Ozymandias is all about that belief that, deep down, humanity is just too dumb or too short-sighted to save itself. So it falls to one great visionary to make the really tough calls, the brutal choices for the good of everyone else. It's a really compelling idea, and an incredibly dangerous one. Just listen to how Musk talks these days about things like population collapse or a rogue AI. It's totally got this vibe. He speaks like a guy with the weight of the entire world on his shoulders, where anyone who disagrees with him isn't just wrong, they're an active threat to our survival.
And here's the crazy contradiction, right? The guy's stated goal is to unite humanity and take us to the stars. But his actions on X often seem to do the exact opposite, just stoking division and tribalism. It starts to feel a lot like a classic divide and rule playbook.
The stakes here are just almost impossible to wrap your head around. When you combine space, global communications, and artificial intelligence all under one person's control,
That's not just another big company. That could be a whole new world order, built entirely on the vision and the whims of just one man.
So, where does that leave us? I think it brings us to a final decision point. And this isn't just a choice for Elon Musk. It's for all of us, watching this new kind of power take shape right in front of our eyes.
The path he takes from here, it could send our civilization down two completely different roads. Down one path, his technologies are shared. They lift everybody up. Down the other, they become the walls of a private empire, splitting us apart into warring factions.
And you know, history tells us this again and again. Unchecked power, whether it's Rockefeller's oil empire or ancient Rome, it always crumbles eventually. No empire lasts forever. The only question is, what kind of legacy it leaves behind? Does it lift humanity up, or does it crush it on the way down?
So, at the end of the day, we're living through this insane new industrial revolution, and it's moving at lightning speed. And as all this power gets concentrated in the hands of one person, maybe the real question isn't about who Elon Musk is. Maybe it's about who we are, and whether we're okay letting one man decide the fate of all of us.